Hi, Krithika. Welcome to the Animal Term podcast.
Hi, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And neutering is, if you have a dog, you must know, it's seen as the gold standard in animal welfare for all companion animals, dogs, cats, whatever it might be. But then, if you actually think a little more carefully about it, neutering is at the end of the day, it is quite profoundly biologically harmful, physiologically harmful to the individual animal because it's castration in males and ovarian hysterectomies in females. They're quite serious surgeries with
Yeah.
long-term permanent impacts. But if you at that point in time, I started looking for research in veterinary science on some of the negative impacts of neutering, and I could hardly find anything. It looks like research studies were not asking that question. All the studies that I could find were only
Wow.
about the positive impacts of neutering, which included things like they won't get pyelometra because they won't have a uterus, or they might be protected from some kinds of cancers. Um, and obviously, it makes
And with males, it's often the idea of reduced aggression, and
exactly.
somehow like this absolutely changes the type of personality the doggo might be expected to have.
Exactly. So there you see, right? So it's the docility. If it's a female, she won't come into heat. At which end of the day, it's if you have a dog in a human home or in some sort of human space, she will be bleeding everywhere. Many of them do, not all of them. Many of them do bleed, and which is obviously doesn't fit within certain standards of our health and hygiene and cleanliness. So you find that again, what is actually a practice of animal control becomes a practice of animal welfare, and because of these logics of care that are used, and neutering over time has people neuter these days in the name of dog or animal welfare itself as opposed to animal control, and because of these sort of internalization of norms, and I suppose your dog is neutered as well.
Yeah, I mean, so he came from the Humane Society. We adopted him just over a year ago now. And if you adopt a dog, there is no option here. There is no determining whether you would like your dog to have that as an experience in their life. If you would like to, if you think you've got a different view on aggression or whatever it is, if you want to adopt because you don't want to abide by breeding practices or engage in that market, or whatever your reasoning is behind it, you don't have that as an option. You yeah, your doggo will just come to you having undergone this procedure. And I actually had a conversation with one of my housemates about this just the other day because, on the one hand, yes, I understand that there are kind of population conflicts, I guess, that happen, or ideas about how human and dog populations should or can interact. And it kind of, I think, the seat of this, at least in our city, is the idea that we have to do something for dogs. We can't just leave dogs be. If there are dogs on the street, something has to happen. So, neutering them is a way of trying to keep those numbers down, the population, as you were speaking, trying to keep dog populations down. But then even just the invasiveness of the type of procedure, and I don't know anything about this, but I know that at least with humans, there are options that are far less invasive than having a hysterectomy or having your balls removed. In effect, like you can have far less invasive operations where you might also decide later on that actually my doggo, maybe there is room for them having a companion or having a family of their own. And it just seems as though that's not even an
Yeah,
option. Kind of, it is the most invasive, most categorical procedure is seen as the solution, which, yeah, once you start to look at it, it is a bit disconcerting. It is a bit
yeah, and I
uncomfortable.
think that's tied to docility and changing dog personalities
Mm.
to make them more adapted to life within human society.